Hi guys, welcome to another episode of The Aspiring Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Hamza Chowdhury. And in this video, I'd like to talk to you about the Tesla stock. It's been a little while since we last talked about it, and it's Sunday night, it's November 15th. I wanted to get this video out before the trading week begins. And we had a lot of good price action on Tesla. And so what I wanted to do is, if you look here, I have my TradingView platform here. You're welcome to join. It's absolutely free. You can join by the link below. And what I have here is my daily chart, and I drew this wedge for quite some time where we had sort of the higher lows of Tesla, and we drew this with the sort of recent highs and the crowns of the highs from Tesla. So we have this sort of wedge here, and we know that once the wedge is filled, that we're going to continue the trend, which is upwards. And Tesla has been consolidating in sort of the low to mid 400s for quite a while, and we haven't seen, like we did up back here, right, where we had the average true range over up in the $30 range per day. We had a $30 spread, right? We've sort of consolidated to like a $15, $12 range. So if you're trying to figure out your risk management plan, figure if you have a $12 spread and let's just say you're on the worst side of that, how much are you willing to risk, right? 1%, 2% of your portfolio is usually tops is what I recommend. So you want to make sure you place your stops based on what you think what the average range is and where you think the stock is headed. And with this sort of bounce, and what I was looking for on Friday was a bounce in the fours. Now keep in mind, this green line here represents a support at 408. I've had it drawn for quite a while. And you can see here that we bounced off the 408 several times. We sold off, and then we sort of broke through this. And you can see with the volume, how much volume we had to break through that support. So again, one support is when the stock drops below support, it becomes resistance. And so we had this bounce, we broke through it, and then we recently hit the high part of the wedge, which was back here, right? And we had a high of 452, and then we sort of sold off again. But keep in mind, look at how many times we've tested the support, right? And then come Friday, when we sold off, I actually ended up buying, right? So again, going back to the RSI, having this is going to help you sort of understand how much a stock has been oversold. So I have added it again. I've always had it on the 1 minute and the 5 minute. I also have it now on the 15-minute chart. So what I was looking for was, it's still a valid support as long as we close above it. So even though we broke through it, and the reason why I bought it was I knew we were oversold, but I also knew that we had a pretty strong support, and we also were trading at the low end of the wedge. So we have multiple things that are sort of coinciding to sort of increase our conviction that the stock has probably hit its bottom. So for example, the piece here on the wedge is one piece. The fact that it's oversold is the second piece. But the third piece in validating that this is no longer going to be a resistance but a support was, guess where we closed? Look at this final push here. This is not for no reason. People are flushing and getting scared and releasing their shares, and market makers are simply just buying them back up and pushing the stock back up. So what I did is I bought some shares, sold it off. I shorted in the morning. I bought some shares here and again sold it off. Now, why would I sell it off at 408 if I believe we're going to continue to fill this wedge? So in theory, we can only base on what we know as of today, but we all know that with the COVID cases increasing, we know that there's, a lot of people are switching to the vaccines. We know that there's post-election drama. There's no stimulus package. There's all these unknowns, guys. And keep in mind, I'm a day trader. I'm not a long-term trader. So I basically try my best to not hold positions overnight, and that way it minimizes my risk. So if the market tanks tomorrow, I'm not stuck sort of bag holding previous positions. So yes, do I believe Tesla is going to come back and fill this wedge and come up to the high of what I believe will be 440 this week? Yes, I do. But then again, what if there's a market condition or something that just happens that I can't plan for? So if you're in the Tesla long, I expect this thing to sort of fill in the wedge, and I see a high here. You can see around the 440s this week. And as it sort of fills in the gap, we should see a backward to an upwards momentum. Now, if we start to sell off like we did pre-election, we'll start to unwind our positions and start seeing previous support levels, the 380s, the 350s, and so forth. Do I expect Tesla to sell off like that? Of course not. But it's just something to be aware of, right? That as we sort of have these previous levels that we've identified, that if there was a sell-off, where we could potentially look to dip buy. So with that said, guys, add the RSI indicators. You can do the call and puts games like we talk about in the Apple stock. I personally just trade shares when I trade Tesla. Sometimes I will do out of the money type of calls, but keep in mind the contracts tend to be kind of more on the expensive side. So if you're someone who doesn't like to risk a whole lot of money, just know that the Tesla contracts, because of the cost of the share, it tends to be on the pricier side compared to like an Apple or a Moderna or some of the other stocks. So with that said, guys, leave your comments below. If you feel like this video was helpful for you, feel free to share it and hit the like button. It really does support the channel and helps us grow. And with that said, guys, I wish you the best of luck this week in trading, and I'll talk to you guys on the next episode. Take care. Thank you.